One day you will tell your story of how you overcame what you went through, and it will be someone else's survival guide. Hey strikers, so I'm not sure where I'm going to end up going with this video, honestly, but if self-harm or talk about suicide triggers you, then this video is not going to be for you, because I'm going to talk about what happened to me last year when I got falsely terminated from my dream job. And I don't know what I'll bring up. There might be some other mental health issues I bring up, because it took a toll on me. I'm also still trying to heal from it, honestly, because last year wasn't an easy year. And when this happened, I'm still going through trying to find the perfect job right now, one that gives me a better work-life balance. So this year also hasn't been off to a good start either. And I'm honestly hating my new job. But I guess it's better that I have something and I can keep looking while I'm trying to figure everything out. And I might go a little bit off topic in this video, because I'm honestly not sure where I want to begin, or I might probably miss some stuff. I'm probably not going to edit this video really that much, except for maybe like the pauses and stuff. But last year, it's almost been a year, honestly, since this happened, when I got falsely terminated. I got falsely terminated last year, end of March 28th. The incident happened March 22, I think. I'll have to look at my notebook, because I actually do write sometimes about what happened, because my therapist suggested to write in the notebook my feelings and thoughts of how I feel, that it might help me process things better. But I was accused, or like had my words twisted, I should say, by coworkers that said I made comments about another officer, which happened to be a coworker of ours last year who killed himself last year. And I've actually been in therapy since 2021, after the whole COVID lockdowns, and I was starting to feel like the whole situation with not getting to move up in the workplace taking a toll on me. And then I did hospital security when the whole lockdowns happened, before I actually switched from parking and transportation into security with the job that I had that I got let go of last year. And honestly, sorry, I'm trying to still process my thoughts for it, because I don't want to use a script for this. And I've tried to do this video many times. I've thought about, oh hey Archie, sorry, my dog's wanting attention. But I wanted to do this last year, thinking it would maybe help me heal. And honestly, I don't know if my story will be someone else's survival guide, but because I'm still trying to survive and work through it through therapy, which I might do another video maybe in the future if you guys want for this topic. to, like, maybe do one next year, how I feel in 2 years from now from the whole situation. But, yeah, anyway, last year when my coworker said I was making comments, jokes about other officers that, especially about the topic about suicide, and he actually knew that I was in therapy because he questioned me about my bracelets here. And before he'd asked me that, because I was out of, apparently, a wardrobe, the supervisor never noticed, and I had my first panic anxiety attack in 2022 because I was dealing with a coworker who was trying to move in with me and hit on me. And one of the Tinder guys that I met up with in real life, that coworker, well, former coworker, saw me with him in the parks and was like, oh, is that your brother? Is that your boyfriend? I am not interested in dating anyone, I said to him or whatever. And so he's like, oh, if anyone's going to date you, it's going to be me. So that kind of led to, like, me wearing the bracelets because that was the first time I ever had a panic anxiety attack, and I told my therapist about it after it happened. Because, like, I've always been anxious or whatever, but I've never had that happen before to me. So, actually, no, I had the panic attack before I went to the thing, but it led to my panic attack the next day anyway. But after that, I started to wear the bracelets, and it was like 2 years before someone actually said anything. But this coworker, he noticed it before the supervisors did. And one of them asked me about it last year in, like, February. I don't remember when. But she harassed me, basically, about it. And she's like, how does it help your anxiety? Oh, what else have you tried? Why are you spending this much on a therapist when we have insurance? Given at the time that I found that out, I've already been seeing this therapist for over 2 years. Well, now it's going to be over 3 years because 2020... Oh, no. Technically, it'll be over 4 years after it becomes, like, November-ish or August, I think, was when I started seeing her in 2021. But anyway, she asked me all those questions in front of the sergeant before, like, when she had me write my witness statement for something that they promote other people for into leadership roles. And I got suspended for it the next day. And I tried to reach out to my friends or whatever, and neither of them were available. And I almost cut myself that day, but my dog kind of started barking at me and snapped me out of it. And I eventually after I got to, like, the doctor, I think a week later or whatever, I asked my therapist for, like, a note about it. And then, so, like, I finally gave them a note. Hey, Archie. And then, a week later. And it took me having another panic anxiety attack after I was no longer allowed to wear the bracelets. When this happened and whatnot. So, like, I had already been, like, getting in trouble for, like, stupid shit that they promote other people for. I know I thought I was going to lose, like, my job because of, like, my attendance points, because I hadn't been going as much to therapy because I couldn't afford it, because it's expensive, and this therapist doesn't do insurance. They do reduced rates, but I was trying not to go as much, because it's, like, it adds up for the amount I don't want to go. But I kept canceling and rescheduling and stuff. And, like, I was just dealing with, hey, I'm never going to move up, and I felt like a failure and stuff. Like, I've been here almost however long in security after I switched from parking and transportation to there for security. and I still couldn't move up. And it's like, no matter how hard I worked, and I felt that way at my first job, honestly. And then the next month, I was just trying to make a conversation with the coworker. I didn't think that I'd get accused of saying, like, making comments, jokes about something I'm actually struggling with. And when they falsely terminated me, I didn't know about the fact that I was also being accused of foul language. They just told me the next day after, like, this happened, after I had the conversation with the coworker, because I was just trying to make a conversation about, hey, this is, did you hear about what happened with this guy or whatever? And it's just like, people that used to work with us that no longer are in the company for whatever reason, whether they left on their own, they quit, or they got fired. And I was just trying to, like, because he never talks to anyone. And anyway, I wish I never had that conversation, and I just kept quiet. But, like, there was nothing to do, because after the executives clear out and everything, it's just empty offices, and it's like, well, or watch the cameras or whatever. So we're just walking around the building taking turns and watching the cameras. I just thought I'd have a simple, harmless conversation. I didn't know he'd twist my words around. But I didn't know that about the foul language, and I was accused of that a week later after I had wrote my witness statement, because after we had talked, or, like, I tried to get him to talk to let me, just about anything, really. I just did that kind of like as an icebreaker or whatever, because we were also looking at people who use, when it was their last swipe on the computer, and, like, how long ago did they last work here or whatever. Because it'll, like, usually tell you when their last swipe was, if, like, someone left or whatever. And so the next day I wrote a witness statement. And I actually had a meeting with possible new therapist, because I was trying to look for someone in on my insurance after that supervisor kind of criticized me of, why am I spending this much on a therapist when we have insurance? And the one that I saw that day before I came into work, she didn't want to take me because of how I'm high risk, and she's very part-time. So she recommended me some other people. And I came into work. They told me to write a witness statement based off the other day. So they never told me that I was also accused of foul language, saying the F word twice. And so I wrote my witness statement, what happened, and I admitted that I struggled with suicide and ideation, like, and whatnot. Anyway, nothing happens the next day. They wait until a week later to bring me in. 4 hours into my shift, they decide to pull me in. And I'm just wondering what the hell is going on. And so I'm being pulled into the supervisor's office. There's like 4 of them there. And then one of them is the supervisor that harassed me about the bracelets. Which she's not supposed to ask that, because we're not even allowed to ask the guests, how does the dog help their whatever they say that they need the dog for, like PTSD or whatever. The only thing we can question is emotional support, because that's not under ADA. That's not considered a service animal. So the fact that she asked me questions like, how does my bracelets help or whatever, all she needed to do was ask me, hey, this is, okay, I understand that you need that for this. You're going to just have to bring in a doctor's note. Not ask me how does it help? What else have I tried? Suggesting me treatment and whatnot, and all the other things that she did in front of the sergeant. I actually wrote a witness statement against her. Anyway, so as I sit there, they eventually close the door behind me, and then they tell me that I'm being terminated as of today, or whatever. And then I'm like, what? And then I start to go to defend myself that I'm struggling with this or whatever, and how I had a knife against my wrist the month before. And then this supervisor that harassed me about my bracelets got up, and literally said, I'm leaving. She already has accusations against me. Given that they wouldn't be called accusations when you actually said that. And the only reason I mentioned something was because and wrote the witness statement was because after having a clearer mind, I realized it upset me, and I did not appreciate being questioned about that, because that falls under HIPAA. And when I got falsely terminated, I actually tried to look for an attorney, which kind of sucks because big companies can get away with shit like this. And it's so unfair. And I felt when she did that and she stood up like that, when I was literally telling mental health issues I had that I didn't expect to ever share outside of a therapist or whatnot, I felt invisible. I felt unvalued. And I was so hurt because I'm not used to talking about my feelings and asking for help. It took me, after like the whole COVID lockdown and doing hospital security, that I realized I needed help and that I couldn't ignore my problems anymore because of some of the stuff that I had to experience in the hospital security environment was very depressing, and also took a hold on my mental health. But after this happened or whatever, I tried to do the appeal process, and it made it think worse, honestly, because you fill it out online or on the paper form, because I went in person thinking I could talk to someone in person. And the thing is, I wish I never did it, because they make you fill out the information just for HR to call you. The ones that made or don't make the approval to make accommodations for you. And it took them a week to make the accommodations after I had a panic anxiety attack and health services had to respond to it. And they look at the schedule of the vice president of security and like, oh, he's available then, and they ask you questions more about what you filled out. So the vice president already has their opinions based on what I already filled out on the paperwork, and what human resources ends up telling them that after the additional questions that they asked me. And then they didn't want to take back on it. So then I was able to go. They didn't give me a choice to do like an appeal process for a peer one, and it was on the phone, and I hate talking on the phone. I'm actually trying to get used to that with my new job, but then I had to go through the process again, and this one was going to be final. I also thought that when I did it, that big lunch or whatever. Dinner. And I thought when I did this that I'd actually be able to get like reasoning or whatever and whatnot, and like that there was still some hope because it wasn't final yet. The director, that maybe that they'd be on my side or something, especially when I was telling them. I was literally in tears when I actually was talking to them, but they cut me off when I played a video recording that someone else sent me telling me that they've brought back people worse than me, that have done worse than me, and that they brought back people who were selling their comp tickets for the parks. Because when you work in the theme park, which I'm not going to say which one, even though I have already kind of made comments in other videos about it, I'm also not going to name any of the names that were involved in this, but they brought back people that were selling comp tickets. And they also brought back someone, this was a different coworker that told me this, or a former coworker, that they brought back someone who let in a gun through the team member line. And that's very serious, because if something had to happen, that would be bad publicity. And anyway, he cut me off, and he asked, like, oh, are you recording this right now? And I'm like, well, no. And even if I was, I wouldn't tell you that, because I would play this back and be like, that wasn't right for you to do this to me, or talk to me like that way. And he also even told me that the body cameras, when I brought that up, that they don't have audio. So the day that they suspended me, I was saying, you can be mad at about something happening and not use foul language. And that probably that coworker just assumed that I use foul language, because when most people are upset about traffic and, like, stuff that they're not expecting to happen, that delay them and, like, ruin, like, their routine or whatever, that traffic changes will cause them to curse. Especially when they don't know another route to get to where they need to go to. But I didn't curse, and it kind of sucks that I was also accused of this, and they waited a week later to tell me this. Why didn't they mention it when I did my witness statement? But after that, I tried to look for a lawyer, and the first attorney I found was one that, like, my friend was able to help me get in contact with or whatever. And although they wouldn't take my case, they did tell me that for my cases, for a case like mine, that there's strict timelines on pursuing it, a lawsuit, and to find another attorney as soon as possible. So it gave me hope that I could probably find one. And they gave me a link to EEOC and OSHA. I forgot there was a third one, but I don't remember the third one. But after I got in contact with OSHA, they redirected me to HIPAA and Department of Labor. Those are also hard to get a hold of, along with EEOC. So I kind of gave up, because it wasn't helping me move past it. I was just getting more hope, and then being more depressed because I wasn't getting anywhere. And the other attorneys kept directing me to other facilities that they thought they could help me, because they didn't think it was right either. And I actually had the human resources person, when I told her that it happened, that they gave me paperwork in case I wanted to reapply again, because I'm on rehire status. I don't know if I'll go back, though, because I'm still honestly hurt by everything. I can't even enjoy a lot of the stuff that I used to watch. Like, I can't watch Beetlejuice because I'll start thinking about the haunted house and the memories that I had there, because that place was a big part of my life. I love the, like, different movies and stuff, and I like the haunted houses that they would make off of the movies, like Ghostbusters and whatnot. And even, like, this Michael Myers thing, well, you can't really see it, but I'm going to eventually have to take that down, because I can't see it 24/7, because I'm reminded every single day that I look at all that stuff, how they treated me, and how I felt like I felt worthless, and like I'm not worth living in this world to be treated like that. And I've only ever told very few people. And because this happened, I tried to look for something to give me hope that things might get better. And eventually I found, because one of my friends that actually suggested where I did the therapy, she helped me find what's kind of like a mental health hospital, but non-clinical, and it's peer support run. And so I actually stayed there for a little bit. And I'm actually going to stay there later this month, now that it's actually March 1st. In a few weeks, that I'm going to stay there to kind of like change my scenery, because I still need to find boxes and bins to pack a lot of this stuff up. That reminds me of that place. And I've been looking for another full-time job, one that gives me a work-life balance. Last year I had to, hold on, my dog wants to go out. I'll continue that thought after I go take my dog out. Hey, so I'm back, and so I'm looking at currently for another full-time job, because last year after I lost a job, I've been looking for another one. And it took me a while to find one with one therapist that I tried out after the job loss, because I could no longer afford the therapist that I've been seeing. I was also trying the one that she recommended for $5 a session after the whole job loss, because they were actually a Christian counseling center, so they gave me a reduced rate of $5 until I could find something full-time, since I knew I still had jobs, but they were part-time, they weren't consistent, because they're event security. And so I was working between all my 5 part-time jobs and trying to get whatever I could so I could keep my place and not end up homeless, and keep my dog, which my parents actually wanted me to get rid of, because they're saying they call him an inconvenience. But without my dog, I don't think I would have holded it together, because friends can say they care and stuff about you, but we all get busy with everything. And that's why I kind of like this place that I ended up staying at too, because at least I was surrounded by people. I didn't feel so alone. And they have different activities like puzzles, and you can do crafts and whatnot, and color. They had a Nintendo Switch so you could play. And then they had Taco Tuesday, which I wish I actually paid attention to what Ashley was cooking and whatnot. And anyway, so with the whole job hunt or whatever, and this other therapist that I was actually starting to try out, she came up with a safety plan for me, and she had me, because I had 3 job offers that I was trying to decide between. I let my dad persuade me that I ended up not choosing Mears to do the buses, which would have been paying close to what I was making before. And Archie, please stop whining. Anyway, it was close to what I was making before, and I would have been sitting mostly just driving a bus. And that would have been different than security. And I wish I had done that, but I took my dad's suggestion and did airport security. Given it was very stressful, because they picked people that, well, they let anybody train you, honestly, because the second day that I got trained, the guy, it was his first job. And it was his first day after he signed off on training. So if he had taught me wrong, and I screwed up, because the airport is very serious, because of 9/11 and stuff like that. So if I screwed up, I could have been possibly fined $10,000, $15,000, or maybe not even be allowed to fly anywhere. Because that's what they told us in the class when they gave us this boring PowerPoints that wanted to put me to sleep. And so anyway, I do it. The first guy that trained me on my second half of the day, he was mostly on his phone, and he was showing me this picture of this video of this topless girl in just her underwear or whatever to our other coworkers. And I'm like, I didn't feel like I learned anything with him. And the other guy didn't really explain it well, other than like nobody comes in through this way except for like these people. And it's like, okay, or whatnot. And anyway, the other guy, he just kind of let me read the binder. And the third company, they never actually paid me for orientation and whatnot. But that would have been in the garage. I would have been by myself just making laps every so often. And using the phone to like pinpoint or whatever. That I probably wish I would have done. But they wouldn't give me a set clear direction on the schedule. So that's why like the therapist suggested doing a whole pros and cons list. And then when I did pick the airport security, because my dad thought I would basically be able to find better opportunities there. But it was also stressful because, like, if I screwed up on this thing, because GOA will come around and actually test you. So the third day I got the guy that trained me on my second day for the second post. He actually trained me on my first post, the third day of my training. And GOA came. And he was nervous as hell. Because he was hoping that GOA would not come around to watch what he was doing. Because if GOA comes around, you don't know if they're actually testing you or not. And sometimes they can be in plain clothes and not actually identify themselves. But this GOA officer went around and followed him around the vehicle to make sure he did everything right. And, like, did not say anything, and then he took a picture of, hi, baby. He took a picture of the guy's badge and, like, ID and made sure he had all his equipment and everything. And so, didn't really learn much. Well, actually, no, he did teach me a lot, but, like, I felt like the first day was one that I didn't really learn, and the last day. So, the last day, after this guy's freaking out about GOA watching him and if he did it right or whatever, nobody told me what to do. They just kind of did their own thing because they wanted to get the line down. And they're technically supposed to be training me. Because if I had signed off on this and I screwed up, it would have been on me, and I didn't want that. Especially when, like, you're supposed to be training me and showing me what to do, but you're not saying anything to me. So I'm just here reading the binder like, okay, do I go on this side or am I supposed to go this side? Because both sides were doing something different and whatnot. So when I was supposed to sign off, I ended up telling them that I didn't feel prepared or whatever, and then they let me go. So I spent another few months looking for something. I kept only finding part-time jobs. I was going to like 5 interviews a week or whatnot. And not getting anywhere. And feeling so helpless. While I'm also still trying to find a attorney that was willing to take the case. I eventually gave up and just tried to focus on just the job hunting. And then finally I find something again, full-time. And that company was not one that I really liked because it was farther away. But, like, also every single day, things were changing. And I had to pay attention to WhatsApp for whatever changes were going on. And then acknowledge it. So I got a write-up because I didn't acknowledge the change, even though I read it. And I could see I clearly read it in the group chat. But I wasn't used to having, like, to look on and have everything for day-to-day operations change. So, I also hated the smell of it. So, because Amendment 3 didn't pass, I had to look again. And I liked that post. Well, I liked what I was doing there because I got to be left alone, mostly. I only had, like, 1 day a week that I actually had to sit at a desk the whole time and screen in people and out, which is pretty simple. And and then like the last hour after my rooming. But I gotta walk around. I wasn't glued to a desk. But that job did not have any work-life balance, and everybody was set in their way. So the only way that you could get time off was if you asked a coworker and they were willing to trade with you. And nobody was willing to trade days off because they were set in their routines. So I only got to hang out with like one of my friends twice because of the whole thing. I missed one of their birthdays because I couldn't get the time off. And it wasn't during the blackout. I barely even got my birthday off for my 30th last year. But I kept looking because I also didn't like the smell of the place. And I wanted a better work-life balance. Then, because I didn't get that, and like eventually Amendment 3 didn't pass in Florida, so they let positions go and mine was let go. Luckily at that time, I had already found a company. I just had to reach back out to them. And then I was promised a Thursday, Friday shift off. Last week, I actually was told now I'm going to have to switch work locations for my post. And my days off are going to be Monday and Tuesday. And I just gotten back used to getting back into like the habit of hanging out with my friends and thought things were finally looking up. But now I can't hang out with my friends again. After just getting to spend time with them the last few weeks, or maybe like twice within the last month. And I hate the new job, honestly. It's very stressful. I have to talk on the phone, and I'm stuck to a gate. I can't go anywhere. And I can't ask for time off until after my 90 days. But I don't even know if I'll get the time off anyway. And so, hey Archie, quiet, buddy. I'll let you in the room later. Sorry, my dog wants to go into my bedroom. But now I got more depressed. And because it was like the rug was ripped underneath from like having a work-life balance again. Because now I'm having to work a schedule I never agreed to when I started. And I'm stressed out because also the other gate is busier and the residents are more rude and feel more entitled over there. And now I can't work my other jobs either, the ones that I actually enjoy, and try and catch up on the job from the job loss and like build up a savings again. Baby, I'll open it later. Sorry, he keeps whining. But now it's like I'm trying to figure out where I can make friends that have Mondays and Tuesdays off. And like a lot of the concerts and conventions are on weekends. So like I was looking forward to I'd be able to have at least a Friday off that I'd only have to worry about getting the Saturday and Sunday off. And then Welcome to Rockville is coming up in May that I would have had the Thursday and Friday off but now with the whole schedule changed, I don't know if I'll get that off because they don't approve it till 2 weeks. I'd rather buy my tickets ahead of time and know that I'm actually going to be guaranteed it off than later, because it gets more expensive the later you wait. And I've also, along with that, I don't know if it's just because also the job loss too that happened, that when hearing from my friend's friend that my brother quit his job or whatever, it made me feel like I wasn't important enough either to be part of my brother's life to tell things to and whatever. And like I even hinted to him when I saw him on Valentine's Day that my friends decided not to hang out after we were done with JoJo, the whole restaurant thing that we were doing, and that they decided not to do the bar crawl. So I was kind of like by myself on Valentine's Day for the bar crawl, and I kind of hoped, which is also something I'm also working on, too, along with the whole job loss thing, on finding something that, with a better work-life balance, is also communicating my feelings more and asking for what I need. But I kind of hoped, hinting to my brother, that I was by myself, and, like, my friends decided not to hang out and do the bar crawl with me, that maybe he would want to spend time with me. But he introduced me to his friend, which happened to be my coworker from my part-time security job, and then he kind of went on his way, and I kind of felt sad about that, along with, on top of, like, this was before I found out about that I'd be having my schedule switched or whatnot. And after I found my schedule was going to be switched, instead of going to the church that I ended up finding the women's Bible study at, I decided to check out his church. I didn't know he was a part of it, but the topic came up 2 days in a row, because I went to a Bible study last Wednesday for a women's Bible study, and the topic of suicide came up then, and it still triggers me and stuff. And then when I went last Thursday to the Bible study that he went to, because I was trying to see if maybe I could find maybe some connections to hang out with, because I've been going to this other church that I applied for security at that I didn't even get, and see if maybe, like, going to that Bible study, maybe I could find some friends that I could do something with Mondays and Tuesdays with, so I'm not just working and staying home in my environment, to be surrounded by the stuff that reminds me of what used to be my happy place. And honestly, not really sure what else I can say, because I'm still trying to figure everything out. But one of my friends said it's kind of hard to avoid that kind of situation and know what topics are going to come up in, like, things. But from one of the women's Bible studies that I attended, someone said that maybe sharing my story, like, all this is happening for a reason, for me to share it with someone else, to help someone else. And I don't know if me sharing here on YouTube is going to help anyone else. Maybe it might help me heal a little bit better, but I'm still honestly figuring out, and I'm still trying to hang on and find something else that makes me happy. And I'm still going to therapy. I'm going back to the therapist that I've been seeing since 2021, because the one that she recommended hadn't been very helpful. One of her suggestions was wearing a hood and a hat and just looking down at the ground. Kind of almost ran into a wall, trying to go enjoy stuff I used to enjoy before I was ever an employee there. And it doesn't help that now that the new park is going to open up this year, later in May, now that they're talking about team members are getting previews for this new park, because I would have had that. And I was looking forward to the monsters area for the Dark Universe and the Super Nintendo World. And I feel like, what if I might not even get to enjoy that again? Like, I can't do the things that I used to love anymore, because it reminds me of that place. And I hope one day that I can get through this. And I'm trying to. But I know healing is going to take time. I just don't know how long. It'll be before things finally get better. And I thought things were going to get better, despite me not liking being stuck to a gatehouse. But at least I like the schedule. So maybe if you guys want, I can update you guys. Maybe do, like, maybe in May, since May is, like, mental health awareness, how I'm doing it then. Or maybe just wait another year, about this time next year, and see if things gotten better for me or not, whatnot. Or if if you guys do want more content like this, or I don't know, I guess I'll just end the video here because honestly I'm kind of losing my train of thought. But I am looking forward to later this month, now that it is March, to getting to do that, stay at that place, even if it's just for a week, because I do prioritize people who haven't stayed there. They did lose funding, though, for the daily check-in that they would do every single day except for Sunday, for just to talk about whatever you wanted to, and you can give feedback or ask for advice. And I actually shared a little bit about what happened to me on there, and it kind of helped the encouragement I got, and felt that also hearing that I wasn't alone with the whole job hunt. So I hope that somehow they'll find another sponsor that will, and they can bring that back up. But for now, at least I'll have this day to look forward to, and it'll at least change my environment that I'm not around this. But thanks for watching if you watched this far. And let me know if you guys would like more content like this, or like what kind of suggestions you would like. Like, what should I do more for like it progress every few months or something? Because maybe I might do that. But bye.